This is the Raw on Netflix September 22, 2025 full show results video, which takes place at Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana. Cody-Rhodes opened the segment in Evansville by addressing the crowd, proudly displaying the inaugural Men's Crown Jewel Championship signet ring. He teased the idea of adding another ring in the upcoming champion versus champion match. Seth Rollins then entered, accompanied by Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed, but instructed them to stay back as he confronted Rhodes alone. Rollins acknowledged that Crown Jewel had been circled on his calendar since SummerSlam, where both men walked out as champions. He framed their clash as more than just two elite wrestlers in their prime, it was deeper than that. Rollins admitted he doesn't care what fans or the locker room think of him, but pressed Cody to reveal what he really thinks. Cody responded that the truth was complicated. He credited Seth with changing his career multiple times, from their WrestleMania encounter to Hell in a Cell and beyond, while pointing out Rollins' questionable alliances, namely with Paul Heyman. Rather than tearing him down, Rhodes flipped the question, asking Seth what he thinks of himself. Rollins referenced the watch Cody gave him at WrestleMania 40, claiming it symbolized hollow praise. He accused Rhodes of calling himself the quarterback of WWE, which implied Rollins was either not good enough or simply beneath him. Rollins declared himself the alpha, the leader of the vision, and the true prime mover of the industry. Cody fired back by reminding him that their encounters have always been one-on-one, and Seth hasn't won a single one. Rhodes walked away, leaving Rollins simmering in frustration. Backstage, the Usos had a tense exchange. Jim questioned Jey's decision to face LA Knight while still hurt, but Jey vented, blaming Knight's refereeing and hinting that Jim's actions cost them against the Vision. When Jim asked if Jey was blaming him, Jey clarified he wasn't, but admitted frustration over wasting time on LA Knight. He vowed to handle it and promised to take Knight down in their match tonight. Then we saw a no disqualification match between Grayson Waller and New Day versus Penta and War Raiders. The match erupted in chaos as New Day, Penta, and the Viking Raiders clashed with weapons, dives, and high-impact moves. Waller used a kendo stick, while Avar leveled opponents with sheer power. Penta was driven through a table by Kofi's diving leg drop, but momentum kept shifting. Avar's corkscrew moonsault missed, leading to brutal apron spots, including an apron Liger bomb. In the end, Grayson Waller battled Penta on the top rope, but Penta delivered a devastating avalanche flip piledriver for the pin. Penta and the Viking Raiders stood tall, sealing victory in a wild, high-octane battle. Backstage in the Judgment Day clubhouse, Dominic Mysterio vents to Finn Balor about the escalating Rusev situation. Finn brushes him off, reminding Dom about standing up for himself, while staying focused on his video game. Desperate, Dom turns to JD McDonagh for help, but JD also claims to be busy. Roxanne Perez intervenes, stressing that Judgment Day is about supporting each other. Reluctantly, JD agrees, saying he'll talk to Adam Pearce. However, Dom reveals he's already arranged the match JD McDonagh versus Rusev tonight, leaving JD visibly frustrated. He sighs and approaches Finn to discuss it further, highlighting the tension within Judgment Day as Dom continues to stir up trouble. Backstage, Bayley approaches Lyra Valkyria with excitement, asking her to be in her corner tonight. Lyra hesitantly apologizes for last week, reminding Bayley she yelled at her, but Bayley brushes it off, acting cheerful and forgetful. Wanting to support her, Lyra agrees if it truly helps Bayley perform her best. Bayley beams with gratitude and happily walks away. Adam Pearce introduces the new WWE Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer, who receives a warm ovation. Vaquer reflects on her sacrifices, her victory over Iyo Sky, and credits her father, her lifelong hero, for inspiring her strength, as he waves proudly from the crowd. Switching briefly to Spanish, she declares herself La Primera, a world champion whose title represents the support and motivation of the fans. Fighting back tears, she thanks everyone and vows her fire will continue making history, unstoppable as the women's world champion. Pearce then announces that the winner of Tiffany Stratton vs Jade Cargill vs Nia Jax on SmackDown will face Vaquer in Australia for the WWE Women's Crown Jewel Championship, setting up her first major defense. Backstage, Stephanie Vaquer greets Nikki Bella and Rhea Ripley with friendly smiles but clear warnings of future challenges. The Kabuki Warriors interrupt, with Asuka insisting Iyo Sky should still be champion. Tensions rise as Ripley confronts Asuka, leading to a challenge. Meanwhile, Asuka berates Kairi Sane despite her attempted apology. The next match happened between Bayley vs Roxanne Perez. Bayley and Roxanne Perez opened with quick counters, trading holds and strikes. Perez gained control by sending Bayley into the barricade before the break. Returning, both exchanged hard shots, with Perez hitting an avalanche Russian leg sweep for a near fall. Outside, Roxanne nailed a pop rocks, but Bayley narrowly beat the count. Chaos erupted when Raquel Rodriguez interfered, booting Bayley, sparking a brawl with Lyra Valkyria. Perez attacked Lyra before Bayley regained momentum, dragging Roxanne back inside. Despite being worn down, Bayley unleashed her aggressive role model side, countering Perez's offense. After hitting a Bayley to belly into a knee and a pump handle setup, Bayley sealed the win with the Rose Plant. Bayley wins by pinfall in a heated, chaotic clash. Post-match, Valkyria gets in the ring to celebrate with Bayley, but since the role model is in control, she gets shoved away from a hug and yelled at. At war with herself, Bayley backs off and then tells her to stay out of it. Cody-Rhodes runs into Jey Uso backstage and Jim congratulates him on retaining the title, and Cody asks how Jey is doing. Jim says he's all in his head, and he's not listening to him, but maybe he'll listen to Cody. Rhodes says he'll talk to him, and they part ways. Backstage, Cody-Rhodes checks in with Jey Uso, mentioning Jimmy seemed worried. Jey brushes it off, insisting everything's fine. Cody reminds him of his support system, family, friends, and fans who believe in him. Jey thanks Cody and promises to rise again, but after their handshake, he's left staring pensively. The next match happened between JD McDonagh versus Rusev. Rusev dominated early against JD McDonagh with heavy strikes, suplexes, and a massive back body drop. Taking the fight outside, he punished JD with snake eyes and threw him into the barricade, but McDonagh countered with clever escapes, a moonsault, and targeted offense to gain momentum. Back from commercial, JD landed big shots, including a Buseku knee and diving senton, but Rusev powered through with crushing lariats and a rock bottom. Fired up, the Redeemer connected with the Machka kick and locked in the accolade. Dominic tried to interfere but backed down, leaving McDonagh to submit. Rusev secured a dominant victory. Post-match, Finn Balor arrives to fight Rusev off and yell at Dominic for abandoning JD McDonagh. Backstage, Asuka is getting ready for her match when Iyo Sky rolls up. Asuka tells her she has to make Rhea respect her. Iyo pleads, again Kairi tries to make nice, and again she gets yelled at and scurries off. LA Knight is interviewed backstage, and he defends the job he did refereeing on Saturday and says he doesn't want to hurt Jey, but if he has to he will. The next match happened between main event Jey Uso versus LA Knight. Jey Uso and LA Knight started fast, trading strikes and counters, including a lariat, jumping neckbreaker, and blocked attacks. After a commercial break, Knight hit a superplex and nearly landed his burning hammer, but ringside distractions from the Vision allowed Jey to regain control. Jey sealed the match with a decisive spear, securing the pinfall victory. Jim comes to the stage and tries to get Jey to help him help LA before the Braun and Braun connection picks the bones, but Jey leaves, so Jimmy grabs a steel chair and rushes to the ring to protect LA Knight. Paul Heyman yells at Braun Breaker like he's a dog, complete with a good boy when he hops off the apron, and says they'll do it in their time, and he leads the Brauns on their way out. Becky Lynch is backstage with Seth Rollins, running Cody-Rhodes and the Usos down and talking up how she's the greatest and mocking the crowd, and says she's gonna make an example, and she grabs her title and leaves without Seth saying a word. Backstage, Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley discuss last week's tensions. Ripley apologizes but insists on facing her match, suggesting mutual respect might be restored through competition. Iyo worries about Asuka's involvement, emphasizing their bond, and questions whether she can truly trust Ripley, highlighting lingering tension and complicated loyalties. Maxine Dupree is chatting with Adam Pearce, trying to get a match, and he says the women's division is more competitive than ever, but just keep plugging away and give him time to find a match, and he'll give her the opportunity she's asking for. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee confront the Americanos, expressing frustration over their dominance. They demand a match next week, leaving specifics open, while Pearce agrees to arrange it with the group. In the main event of the show, we saw a match between Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. The match opened with feeling out exchanges, with Asuka taking early control and sending Rhea Ripley to the floor. Back in the ring, Ripley fought back with drop kicks, suplexes, and super kicks, trading strikes with Asuka. Despite Asuka locking in multiple submission attempts, Ripley countered effectively, showcasing resilience and power. After intense back-and-forth action, including near falls and high-risk maneuvers, Ripley capitalized on a small opening and rolled up Asuka for the pinfall victory, proving her dominance in a hard-hitting, fast-paced contest. After the match, Asuka sprays poison mist on Rhea Ripley, followed by a brutal beatdown from Kairi Sane. Io rushes in to save Ripley, but Asuka counters with a backfist. Sane joins, holding Sky for Asuka's kick, culminating in a diving elbow and chaotic post-match assault, leaving chaos and devastation in the ring. How would you rate this week's Monday Night Raw? Tell me in the comments, and thanks for watching.